Yeah, some charts. Here's something that's kind of interesting, talking about the design of the power regulation circuitry, which is definitely of interest to overclockers. This board does use a 6-phase power design, which is nothing special, especially for a P45 based board. Generally, you don't see anything with less than 6-phase design. And actually, a lot of P45 boards, enthusiast boards, you're going to see 8-phase, 12-phase, and there's even some 16-phase boards from Asus out now that use some pretty advanced stuff. But with that being said, this particular design, 6-phase power design, is supposedly nothing to frown upon. They're using some improved components and improved choke and improved MOSFETs that are supposed to be, make this board's power regulation circuitry just as good as a 12-phase or 8-phase board. So, we'll see. A little bit of more features list. Of course, ultra secure, we said a minute ago. Dual gigabit LAN, dual BIOS, which is really good. This board has 2 BIOS chips. So, in case you fry one BIOS or you flash it incorrectly, you can switch over to the other BIOS chip, which you can flash both of these chips independently of each other. It just gives you quite a bit more protection in case of if the power goes out while you're flashing your main BIOS or who knows what. And of course, this board does, although it's not featured prominently on the box, you can find it in this little blurb here on the back, but it does have 2 16X PCIe slots for crossfire support. That's ATI's version of SLI, basically, for you NVIDIA folks, running 2 cards at once, 2 graphics cards at one time, and one motherboard. Now these the 16X PCIe slots do revert to an 8X mode if you're running crossfire. So that doesn't really make any difference. There's not any card out today. Even the 4870X2 does not utilize all the bandwidth that 16X PCIe has to offer. It doesn't even utilize all the bandwidth that 8X has to offer. So running in dual 8X mode is no big deal, despite what other people might tell you. So, how about we open the box and take a look? I just received this board from Newegg. I have not opened the box yet at all. Just took it out of the shipping box, and that's it. So it'll be interesting to see what we have here. As we can see, what do we have here? A user's manual addendum. Something about the heatsink installation, I guess. Yeah. Basically an addendum talking about how to properly install your heatsink. Here is the Ultra TPM user's manual. Here is the motherboard user's manual. Very nice. Gigabyte manuals are always fairly good, fairly well laid out. Not a lot of English. Usually understand it anyway. There's a Gigabyte driver CD and software CD. They do provide you with their own overclocking utility that runs in Windows, but I never use it. I'd rather do stuff in the BIOS. Nice Gigabyte sticker. Actually, it looks like 2 Gigabyte stickers. And this one says Gigabyte powered. And then there's another sticker here. Case badge, traditional case badge format. Oh, this one says Dolby Home Theater. This board is actually supposed to have the newest Realtek, I think it's ALC 888 or 898, or maybe 988. But whatever the case, it does purportedly have Dolby Home Theater sound. I myself use an X-Fi, a Creative X-Fi, so I don't hardly ever use the onboard sound. Although I do have to say that the Realtek onboard audio in most of these motherboards is quite good. I mean, damn near excellent. It's the closest you can come to great sound without getting an add-in card like an X-Fi. So now here's our I/O shield. Look at all them ports. My goodness. SATA cables. I count 1, 2, 3, 4 SATA cables. There's 2 traditional SATA cables, and there's 2 with right angle connectors. Here's our IDE and floppy cable. I don't know anybody who still uses a floppy drive, but here's another set of SATA cables. Oh, these are eSATA cables in a bracket. Oh, that's nice. And there's actually an external Molex connector on that. Ooh, that's going to come in handy. That was actually kind of funny. I was just talking about this the other day. That's pretty cool. I've got some of you might have seen my battery charger video, my ghetto rig battery charger, that I have a Molex connector on. This will be perfect for that. So anyway, this bracket has 2 eSATA drive connectors on it. And you can see the eSATA cables plug into the motherboard. And it looks like, I don't know what these cables are, they look like SATA cables. I have no idea. I'll have to investigate that later. Oh, that's what they are. They are eSATA cables. It's nice of them to throw that in. Most of the time your eSATA drive should come with a cable, but it's always nice to have one. And this looks like a mini firewire or USB cable. Not sure about that one. Definitely lots of cables thrown in the bunch though. Let's take a look at our motherboard. Definitely lots of stickers on that sucker. Let's get it out of the box here so we can have a better look at it. So here you can see the UD3P in all its glory. It comes adorned with lots of stickers stuck to the PCI slots in the CPU area. Some interesting cooling going on there too. Now let's pull off these stickers. Set them aside so we can have a look at the cornucopia of features on the board. As you can see, we have 2 PCIe X16 slots. It should be noted again, this is a crossfire capable board, so if you have 2 ATI cards, you can plop them in here and get double the graphics power. Well, you know, theoretically anyway. In crossfire mode, these 2 X16 slots do revert to X8 mode, but you know, that should not affect your buying decision in any way, because you know, the graphic cards that are out there now don't even use the bandwidth available in X8 mode anyway. Even the 4870X2 just doesn't come close to using that amount of bandwidth, so you know, you're good to go there. Now let's see. Let's take a closer look at the features on the board and see what we can find out. We'll start by taking a look at the back of the board. See what ports we have. I see PS2 mouse and keyboard. It's nice to know that they're still keeping the legacy ports around, especially since I still use a legacy keyboard. We have our coax digital audio and optical digital audio. Always good to have. We have 2 USB 2.0 ports and an older FireWire port. And then we have 2 more USB 2.0 ports and another FireWire port. This is the newer mini FireWire. We have 2 more USB 2.0 ports and a Gigabit LAN port. 2 more USB 2.0 ports and another Gigabit LAN port. This board does have dual Gigabit LAN. It's pretty impressive.